my name is Danielle E. Brockman, and today I'm here with Tom Shane from Shaneco Diamonds. He is an entrepreneur and very successful man in the Denver area with his diamond company. Thanks for being here today.
My pleasure indeed.
Wonderful. So, here today we're going to share with you some gold nuggets and information about how to become successful and steps to become successful. So, we start out with Shane's family. So jewelry has been in Shane's family since 1929, and his grandpa started it. He bought the company, and everything started to come together.
Exactly.
So what's it like working with the family and branching off from there and creating your own offices?
Well, as a kid, I saw my father and his brother, my uncle. They didn't always agree, and from a business standpoint, I mean, we were close blood family. But so my uncle, I was born and raised in Cleveland. And that's where my grandfather started the jewelry business. And my uncle moved off to Indianapolis because we had stores in Indiana as well as Ohio and a couple of neighboring states. My dad stayed in Cleveland and ran the Cleveland side of it. My uncle from Indianapolis, the Indianapolis side of it. And then years later, let's just say my uncle, when he was diagnosed with cancer, he sold the business, his side of it, to third parties. And when I graduated college in Denver, at Boulder at CU, I started my own company here because I didn't exactly agree with the way my father was doing things. So I didn't really want his business per se, but I wanted to continue in the industry. I was closer to my uncle professionally speaking, and my model was more similar to my uncle's. And then, like I say, years later, a few years later, when he died, his stores went to a third party that he sold to. And in the 1990s, I was able to buy those stores back, which was actually, we have stores in Indianapolis and Louisville, which is where he was. So I bought those back, so it's today one solid family once again. And my son's been with me for quite a few years now, and he's actively running the American side of the retail business. He's president of the company, and I spend every few weeks, I go back and forth 8 or 9 times a year to Bangkok. I spend 20-some weeks a year, about half the year there. And we've got a factory that I built there, so we're producing jewelry. And that's only in more recent years. One of the things that I still do very much hands-on is in terms of day-to-day operations, hands-on, is buying I'm the head buyer for the rubies and sapphires. So we've got an office downtown Bangkok in the old jewelry district, because that's the wholesale capital of sapphires and rubies for the world.
Whoa.
Which is what brought me there in the first place. And I used to go there with my uncle 40 years ago, so it goes back. And so I'm there anyhow buying rubies and sapphires. So I opened a factory there. So I spend time there half the year. But I mean, I guess the real issue is you have to love what you're doing, going back to where you were coming from. So that's a very quick background.
That's really neat. So, a long family history of being in the jewelry business and working together with your family and kind of creating a brand of your own.
Yes.
So, one question I want to ask you is about your slogan. Now, you have a friend in the diamond business. How did that start, and where did it originate from?
That I give credit to my late uncle. And the idea is that, first of all, it's an acknowledgement that buying a diamond, even today with the internet and everything else, and information that wasn't available 50 years ago, excuse me, buying a diamond today can still be an intimidating experience to a lot of people. And what we're trying to illustrate is that being family owned, we have values, and what's important to us is a long-term relationship with a customer. And we're not looking for quarterly earnings like a public company. And we want long-term relations. So we want to treat our customers properly so that they will have a good experience, and we want to become their lifetime jeweler. So we're trying to make it more personal than if they were buying from one of the chains where there's 1,000 stores and shareholders, and the management doesn't really care about long term, or the salespeople certainly don't. It's a different feeling to a customer, and we're trying to use it as a differentiator, really.
I think that's really smart. And if I ever do get married, I know where I'm going to get my diamond ring.
Well, that's very gracious of you. At least give us a shot. That's all I ask. Go anywhere you want and look and compare, but before you commit elsewhere, or come to us first, and you may decide you don't need to go elsewhere, but put us in the running. That's all I ask.
That's wonderful. Well, good to hear. So my next question is what's the lifestyle like after you've sown and reaped everything from the garden? Traveling, conferences, schedule.
You're starting with an assumption. With all due respects, I can't answer that the way you phrased it, because I'm not going to reaffirm something that isn't quite right. There's a couple of issues. You started with the traveling. First of all, when you start a business, you have to do something that you really are loving, that you feel good about. Side story, but when I went first time to Antwerp, Belgium to buy diamonds, it was from the same people that my uncle was buying from. All of our relationships are multi-generational. It just happens that it's a very family-tight industry worldwide.
Whoa.
And many of the people that my uncle and my father were buying from, we're continuing to buy from.
Whoa.
And I'm buying from, they're contemporaries of mine that are their children. And my son is very good friends with many of their children who are also in the business, whether it's in Israel or in Belgium or in, it doesn't matter where, in Hong Kong. They're multi-generational, India, multi-generational relationships. And also in the U.S. It isn't unique to overseas. So it's a very family-tight industry. It's a small industry.
That's really cool.
When you take the couple of major companies out that are public, or that are owned by venture capital groups that flip them every 5 years and don't care about their customers, but you look at the rest, and then you take out all the little artists that do it as a hobby. It looks like a professional store, but when you go in there, they're designers, artists, decorators type. And I'm not putting them down. That's great, but they're not serious about business. It's a hobby for them. So when you look at the ones that are serious about business, that are most are privately owned, and there's 3 or 4 in every city, and they're the toughest that we compete against.
Yeah.
They're the most serious, and they're also multi-generational, family-owned.
Okay.
So it's a small industry of serious players. That's all I'm trying to say. Having said that, it's worldwide, everything, we have no borders.
Yeah.
So anyhow, when I was 22 and I went to Antwerp the first time, and I met the man that my uncle and dad were buying their diamonds through, the first thing he taught me is that when you open up a parcel of diamonds and you look at it, it has to appeal to you. It has to be attractive just when you first open, and if not, you give it back to the gentleman that's trying to sell it, say, no, thank you, it's not for me. So you have to have a visual attachment. The second thing he taught me, and I don't mean to be sexist or gender specific, but I'm 22 years old, and he says, so I'm shaving already. He says, Tom, when you look in a mirror, every morning you have to shave.
Yeah.
And as you're looking in a mirror, you should be proud of what you see.
Yeah.
And those are lessons that stick with you, that you have to have a level of belief in yourself that what you are doing, you believe is the right thing to do, and it's for the right reasons. So you start with that, and then if you're in a family type business, you want lifetime customers. So you don't look at each occasion, each sale isn't a chance to take advantage of the customer. It's to strengthen the relationship.
Oh,
And that's really important to us. You asked about travel. Travel is a necessary part of the business. And the reason for that is that when we sell product that comes out of the earth, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, okay, even pearls that come from oysters, but I mean, each one, they're natural. So each one is different. It doesn't come out of a machine. So therefore, they have to be selected individually. So if you're going to buy them right, I don't care what industry this is, if it's something that's natural and you're going to buy them right, you have to look at each one. Another lesson my friend in Antwerp taught me when I was maybe 23, 24 years old, there's hundreds of small little stones that we call melly. And I'm sitting there, and man, I need to buy several hundred stones. And he's got this parcel of stones, and I'm taking a loop and a tweezer, and I'm looking at every one. What most of the industry does is they'll take a cut, a small percent. They'll look at 20 stones, and if they like 18 out of 20 stones, okay, they'll say, I'll give you X amount of dollars for 90% of the lot. They just do it blind.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking at every stone.
Oh.
And this man is getting annoyed, and he says, are you going to, because he thinks he's wasting his time. So he says to me, he says, Tom, or actually he said to Harry, my broker, he says, is he going to look at every stone? And Harry answered him beautifully. He says, no, just the ones he has to pay for. In other words, if the guy wants to give them to me for free, I don't need to look at them. If I'm going to pay for them, I better know what I'm buying. So that is the level at which we operate. And to this day, we employ 4 full-time diamond buyers, and we handpick, we look at every stone.
Whoa.
And because it comes out of the ground, it's not, if it was out of a machine, they'd all be identical. It's not, they're not produced by machine, they come out of the ground by hand. So you have to know what you're getting, and that if we're going to give good quality, we have to know what we're buying. If it's not good, we reject it. To me, that's just common sense. Otherwise, you're taking the attitude, if 80% of them are okay, what am I really saying? To hell with the other 20% of the customers? 8 out of 10 will get something nice? You can't build a business that way. You have to care for all of the customers. I don't say we don't make mistakes, but when we do, we admit them. We stand behind what we do. So we try to do it right 100% of the time. We're not that good. Nobody can do it right always. But we're serious about trying to do it right. So that again, is philosophical.
That's really cool.
And for travel, like I say, I don't view it as fun. I mean, I love to be with the girl on a beach. That's vacation. That's fun. But as far as being seriously working, it's hard work. I work just as hard in Bangkok or in Hong Kong or wherever in the world I am as I do in America.
Wow.
Working is working.
And you love what you do.
Well, that's the first key. If you love what you do, if you enjoy it, then psychologically, you not only do you feel good when you go home and look in the mirror, but you want to continue with it. Most people don't really love what they're doing, and the alarm clock rings and they say, oh, I have to get up and go to work. And with that mentality, it's not, they're working because they have to, not because they enjoy it. Therefore, they're thinking, oh, I can't wait till I'm such and such an age and I can retire. And what does retire mean? It means no longer have to work. They're relieved of the burden of working. They're able to retire and then they can enjoy life. Well, to me, my enjoyment comes every day. And so it's a huge difference. I don't want to be misunderstood, but when I was still in my late 20s, I could have sold out and retired, never had to work another day in my life, and from a financial standpoint. But I mean, I'm now I'm in my 60s, and I don't have any interest to retire. I like what I'm doing.
That's
I
awesome.
love what I'm doing, and I don't view myself as a workaholic. But when emails come in, they're answered. Phone calls are answered. I'm on top of what I'm doing, and I enjoy it. Wherever in the world I am, I'm in communication with everywhere else. People don't need to know, oh, I didn't want to call you this week because I knew you were in Belgium or Bangkok or something. I was going to wait. No, what are you talking about? I'm gone half the year and out of the country, so be in touch with me. And the people from our offices in Thailand, wherever in the world, they're always calling me too. Now, at night, I'll close my phone so I can sleep. I'm not insensitive to the time zone, but I'm accessible. I'm available full time because we're working full time, and I enjoy it. And that's so. I don't view work as a burden or as an obligation, and I do it because I enjoy it. And I take pride in having customers that are satisfied. I meet people that have been customers. I don't know them. They introduce themselves. They hear my name, and I met one the other day, a lady in her 40s, and she's got a son that's ready to start looking for an engagement. She's been our customer all her life. And how did she come to us? Her father-in-law, her husband's father, pushed her to come to Shane Company. This is in Denver, it just so happens, back in the 70s. So the only thing when I looked at her, I said, it's a good thing I was born at a young age. I mean, I didn't know how else to answer her. But, I mean, I enjoy what I'm doing. And when it comes to building a company, besides your customers, or in order to have the customers, you have to focus on your employees, on your team. And a company's culture is to me the single most important thing about any company. Every company has a culture. Some companies, quite frankly, that people may be too dumb to acknowledge it or recognize it, but regardless, every company has a culture, and every person has a culture. And the key is to have the people that you employ match, parallel, coincide with the culture of the company. We're a very transparent, a very open, a very honest company. We have no secrets. You're sitting in my office. You can, when you came in, your camera's pointing the other way, but at the front door, you see it's all glass. You'll see there's no locks on the doors. So anybody can, we're under construction now, but normally people are constantly walking by the hallway. The doors are always open. So there's no secret. Yes, we, in the diamond business, obviously where we have the merchandise, we have safes and security and locks, where we have HR, human resource records and people's private. Of course, we have protection for our employees of things that need to be confidential, but as a company, there's no silos. Everything is open. And we need to have people that are open and honest and transparent. If they don't understand something, just admit, I'm sorry, I don't understand it. If we ask a question, they don't know the answer. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. Now, it would be nice if they'd follow up and say, let me please look into it and find out, and I'll get back to you. But in any event, be honest if you don't know something. Nobody knows it. There's no one that knows everything. Certainly, I don't have all the answers. I wouldn't be asking questions.
I don't either, so I'm asking you.
But that's normal. So we need people that are open, honest, transparent. If you're certain of something, state it with certainty. If it's an opinion, I'm glad to hear an opinion. But if you don't know, don't BS us. Tell us what you really, that you don't know. And that's fine. So this is the type of stuff that we look for in our employees at all levels, executives and the newest people that we hire. I don't care if they're in our accounting department or if, in sales in the stores or at our corporate office. I don't care. Or in Thailand, we have the in our factory or our buyers and sorters of stones, our designers that design jewelry for us. The culture is the same. You have to be honest, open, transparent. And this is what is so important to us. And it's also how we treat our customers. If we do something wrong, we admit it. And we don't wait and hope we don't get caught. We admit it. We acknowledge it. If we don't know, we tell the customer we don't know. It's exactly the same. We don't overstate. We don't misrepresent. We're honest with what it is or what it is not. If there's deficiencies, we tell them where it's weak. If we think they're doing something, if they want to buy something and we think they're not going to be happy that they're doing it wrong, we will advise them that our opinion is that it might look better the other way. And if they are hell-bound and determined to do it their way, we can't do more than advise them. But we try not to let them make a mistake, because long-term, they'll be happier. So I mean, if this is what's important to us, and with our employees, we build strong teams and loyalty. We hire intelligent people. We have no robotic speeches. No, there's no pre-canned or pre-learned speech that they give a customer. The customer walks in, the employee finds out about the customer, about their wants, their needs. When or how are they looking to wear it? What else does she own? We're trying to be, so that we can help, so that we can make suggestions. We try to learn as much as we can about the people, so that we have something to benefit. If you have a pre-canned speech, then that's bringing everyone to the same level, and all people are not the same. Certainly with their jewelry needs, they're not.
Yeah, nah. I can speak for that because I like my jewelry very specific.
And if we were trying to sell to you, we would find that out, and then we could make suggestions. If we don't know that, we can't help you. If you had a boyfriend and he was coming in alone, whether it was for a Christmas present or whatever it might be, engagement ring, I don't care, we would need him to explain as much as he could about what you like and don't like, and why, or your lifestyle, or how would you wear it, what else how often do you get dressed this way or that way, so that we can try to make it fit. I mean, yes, we give a money back guarantee, of course. So, but psychologically, he doesn't want his money back. He started out with his money. What he wants is to satisfy you. He wants to look good in your eyes. He wants to make you happy. So that's why we're trying to figure out what it is. And this has nothing to do with gemology, okay? And it's not unique to jewelry. So I mean, to me, this is just the right way to treat people.
That's awesome. Well, I hope my future husband will watch this someday.
I'm feeling you might plant it where you might see it. You know, if you do come into one of our stores, we have little things called hint cards.
Hint cards. Okay.
H-I-N-T, hint card. And a lady fills it out. I don't know what she does with it. We never see them back again, but sometimes she finds it helpful.
That is so cool. So I know you're on a busy schedule, so if there's one more question I can ask you.
Yes, please.
How do you create focus and efficiency to get everything done that you need to do for your company? Like, how do you grow bigger with being more efficient? Like, how do you plan your day?
Well, to build a company, there's an old expression about getting the horse in front of the cart, or the cart in front of the horse. And we believe in, before opening new stores and opening them at such a rate that pretty soon we can't handle the growth, we want to be, we would rather invest in our systems and the back office stuff, so that as we expand, we have the capacity to control it. Besides systems, and you can think IT, but it's beyond computer-related systems. You need all of the departments in the company to be parallel. When it comes to people, we need the right kind of HR department that is recruiting the right culture, the right type of people. Some companies work top down where the boss dictates. We like to work bottom up, so that we would like to have too many good salespeople that want to go into management and too many assistant managers that want their own stores to push us to open new stores, so that we have the right people. We want our systems in place so that we can control the inventory, so that the customer has a good experience. In each of our operational departments, we want to be prepared, we want to be ready, and build from strength. Financially, I want to have the money on hand. I use the word money. It might be cash, it might be inventory that we don't need, but I keep buying more and more inventory, that the existing stores are overstocked. I can then move it into, if it's surplus inventory, we can put it into a new store.
Whoa.
And the other stores don't miss it. On the other hand, just psychologically, if in order to open a new store, I had to hurt the existing stores, steal their best people, reduce their inventory so that they couldn't give their customers the service or offer their customers the proper selection, then I'm really hurting the existing business to open a new store. So neither my son nor I feed our egos by bragging how many stores we have. What feeds our ego is to have excuse me. Sorry, it's a call from Bangkok.
Whoa.
What feeds our ego is to have the customers get the best experience, have our people love to take pride in the company they work for and how they take care of customers. So I hope that answers it. And so I try to coordinate all of the things. That's how I view my job as a CEO.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much,
Tom. I appreciate your coming, and hopefully I've been helpful. And to the people that are viewing this, I hope I've been able to give you a little bit of ideas or thought for your own careers.
Definitely. Well, we'll see you on the next episode, guys. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.